My name is Paul, and I'll be your host tonight. We have a wonderful evening planned for you, as usual, on this fine Wednesday, October 21st, 3 weeks into the month. Reverend Sally is going to be our speaker tonight, so I'm announcing that a little bit early. Our Wednesday nights are designed to be informal, intimate, and rich. And I think tonight it's going to be more informal, intimate, and rich than ever, huh, Reverend Sally?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So the style that Reverend Jeff likes us to use, but we're not limited to just this, is the satsang style, where a speaker comes in and speaks on a subject for about 20 minutes or so, and we have open discussion. I think Reverend Sally's going to do a little twist on that for us tonight, because she has something very special to present around our monthly theme of cosmic connections. And our annual theme is 2020 Spiritual Vision. If you're joining us for the first time, we welcome you. We have some information at the end I'll tell you about, so you can stay further connected. You will be muted tonight through the program until we go into the share period, and that's to improve the quality of the transmission. So Reverend Sally is one of our staff ministers here. She does a ton of work behind the scenes. She's the master Zoom host, got us all up to speed on Zoom when we needed it. We actually had a chat earlier today about, or I did mostly because I do all the talking, so I guess it's a one-way chat in our preparation meeting, but how fortunate we are to have this venue available to us, forced on us during the pandemic, but how great it is that we can stay connected through this medium. And there's nobody better out there than Reverend Sally in Zoom. She has done a tremendous job, her and Constance, of getting us all educated and acclimated to this new technology. So Reverend Sally, that's going to be your moniker for the rest of your life, I'm afraid. She's also currently teaching with Reverend Tony, the second of two classes in a series on stuff going on at the center. And I hear you have a lively bunch. So it's and what did you say about our classes tonight? Do you remember what you said?
Well, they are delicious. They are fabulous. They bring together a whole bunch of people that have really just life bursting out of them.
Great. So it's successful so far, and then when the next series comes, I'm sure lots of folks will be interested in signing up, as long as they know you're going to be there, Reverend Sally. So right now, I'm going to turn it over to you and ask you to open us up in prayer, and we'll launch into your discussion.
Okay, thank you, Paul, and welcome everyone. I am so glad that you are here with us this evening. And for our prayer this evening, I'd like to share with you some words from Ernest Holmes. I was reviewing his information about forgiveness because that was part of what my talk would be about. And so I'm going to read to you his prayer on forgiveness to open us up. So if you will, just relax into the moment here. God is all there is. God is love. Love is the motivating power of the whole universe. God is in everything. God is in everyone. Realizing that love is the great motivating power of life, and knowing that God must be at the center of everything, today I am meeting this God in everyone and seeing the manifestation of his life in everything. If there is any condemnation or animosity in me, I gladly loose it. I loose it and let it go as I turn to that silent presence within me, which gives all and withholds nothing. I enter into the harmony of eternal peace, into the joy of knowing that I am now in the kingdom of God, from which no person is excluded. My yesterdays are gone forever. My tomorrows stretch forth in an endless future of pure delight. And from out of the invisible, there come to me these words. Today, thou art with me in paradise. And with these words of earnest, I bless our time together, knowing it is fruitful, knowing that we hear what we need to hear and find comfort in it, knowing that we release what we need to release and find comfort in it, knowing that the cosmic connections that we create in this meeting expand forever and are good and very good. And so if you're in agreement with any of this, please join me by saying, and so it is. And I know you're saying, and so it is, even if I can't hear you because the microphones are muted. So welcome. Welcome to our Wednesday night service. I am so glad you are here with us this evening. And as Paul mentioned, it's going to be a little different this evening. And part of the reason for that is because when I was working on my talk, all of a sudden my computer went poof and the talk was gone. So what I know is that Spirit always provides a way. And lo and behold, when we came on to the pre-meeting activity this evening, Paul and Constance had a great idea. And so we're going to go with the flow of Spirit, and we will be sharing with you first thing a video that Paul put together of all the wonderful changes and upgrades that are happening at the center while we're all sheltered in our places away from the center. And the reason we're sharing it, other than the fact that my talk was blown up by the computer, is that it helps to show us our connections in spirit are still right there. They're clearing out space. They're opening up that void so that when we can safely come back together, the place where we're going to come back together is beautiful, ready for us, and open. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Peter to go ahead and share our video. And I'm going to invite Paul to unmute himself so that if he feels called to give any narration as we go through watching the video, he can certainly speak up and share with us.
Okay, so first of all, as we look at this, know that it runs about 8 minutes, and it's pretty self-explanatory.
Imagine yourselves there.
Walking through into the entry of our social hall and education building. And our effort was to restore all of the original architectural features. That includes all of our oak trim that you see. And we restored the stairs, and we installed a new flooring in this oak that matches the social hall. The handrails are original and have been refinished to their original finish. And the room has been painted. And all these doors have been refinished. And we moved the practitioners into that little nook by the stairs. We also carried the new floor into the back hall, which has been freshly painted. New baseboards throughout. Dorothy Mendez has been helping me, and we decided to redo the nursery while we were at it, like we had nothing else to do, right? Freshly painted, all the children's toys have been cleaned. It's in preparation for bringing back our children. The restroom has been completely renovated. painted. And Javier, our janitor, redid the tile floors and the tile in the bathroom and got them to their original finish, and they look brand new, so we didn't have to replace them. So when you see the floor in a minute, you'll see how shiny and pretty it is. We also installed new blinds on the windows.
It's enough space for the
Marco and Diane have been doing a lovely job maintaining our gardens, both in the courtyard and elsewhere throughout.
science of mind teaching symbol.
Right, the teaching symbol has been painted a little bit so it stands out. All of the carpeting, all 5,000 square feet of it in the sanctuary building has been completely cleaned, and all the paint has been refreshed. And we removed the accordion door and replaced it with a pocket door, so all the door heights are level. Christopher Brown installed that door. This is a view of our prayer room, which has been completely cleaned and organized. We added some artwork, and we brought our past practitioners in memorial to be a part of the prayer center in perpetuity. Now they're in the prayer center with us when we go to pray, where they've spent many hours praying for us. They're praying with us now forever. All of that carpet has been cleaned, all the carpet that you see. Saved us about $30,000 in replacement. It looks brand new. Reverend Margaret asked me if it was new carpeting when she toured the place. There's no place like home, Dorothy said. As we enter the practitioner room, Dorothy and I painted it, cleaned it, restored the arch, purged it, did all the upholstery, got it refreshed and cleaned, organized, nice and neat for you to pray in. Our meditation garden that leads to the peace garden that has grown quite a bit in the last 6 months. And Diane and Margot keep it trimmed up with their watering team and their weeding team. You can see how beautiful it is. There's our peace pole. And of course, Margot and Diane have extended their work into our new gratitude garden on the other end of the parking island. All fresh planting, new dirt, mounds, pathways. We even have some architectural art out there for the plants. Margot and Diane have done an outstanding job on bringing life to this end of the parking lot, which will greet you when you enter our gates. We're so grateful, Margot, Diane, for your work. It's just stunning. Thank you so much. Fiesta de Resistance is our new beautifully renovated social hall with the original floors. All the walls have been painted, all the materials. Laura Jackson cleaned everyone, her and Dorothy, mostly Deborah, of those 80 chairs. And that's all there is. Thank you, Reverend Sally.
Oh my goodness. Paul, thank you. Thank you, Paul, and the facilities team and everyone who has done anything at the center while we've been away. It is so gratifying
Thank you
to
so much
see.
for setting the.
I'll let Peter stop there we go. It is so gratifying to see all the work that's been put in place while we've been away from the center. You know, it's this time of sheltering in place really can be challenging. And I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful that we have had the opportunity for folks like Paul and Margot and Christopher and Diane and Peggy and all the others on the facilities team who have been able to go to the center and take care of these projects, and Dorothy, and take care of these projects in safe ways where they are staying protected as they're having these projects done. And I am just so grateful that we've been able to do this. And one of the reasons I'm really grateful about this is because it does highlight our cosmic connections, right? We can look at this time and say, oh, it's such a horrendous time. Oh, there's so much challenge going on and there's so much bad that's happening. And yet, Spirit, God has been at work. Spirit, God has been at the center, fluffing things up, making things great, cleaning things out, purging things. And so it just amazes me. It's a mystery, right? It's a mystery of God, how everything happens for the highest good. Maybe in my little point in time, I might not think so, but I know that everything happens for the highest good. So what I'd like to do, now that we've listened to the video, what I'd like to do this evening is ask a question. And the question that I want to ask is the topic. It is, what are you doing? What bridges are you creating to get over the troubled waters that we're experiencing in life right now? So I'm going to keep talking for maybe 2 minutes or so while you think about this question. What bridges are you creating or becoming more aware of in your life that are helping you over these troubled waters that we're experiencing right now? And as you're thinking about that, I'll give you an example for myself. One of the bridges that I use during this time is to stay connected with my prayer partner. We call in and touch base every week, and we pray for each other every week. So that's one of the bridges that I'm creating over the troubled waters of life right now. And I want to hear from you. What are the bridges that you are using, that you are creating at this time of life that are helping you over these troubled waters? So if you can raise your hand either in the participants window, or if you want to unstop your video so that I can see you, we can let you speak. Sherry, I saw your video turned on. Do you have something to share?
Not at this point, Sally. I did that by mistake.
Okay.
I just want to think about what you said.
Okay.
Thanks.
So I know you guys have been thinking about this, all these troubled waters that we're experiencing right now, right? I mean, it's election time. Like I said in my talk on Sunday, it's election time. We're still dealing with fires. We're still dealing with all the isms. We're going into the cold and flu season. And let's not mention that C word, but okay, maybe we will. COVID is still very hot right now. So what are you doing? What bridges are you building in this time? Eliza.
Oh, when you said prayer partner, I'm trying to get so there's not so much glare on me. That's what I've been doing too. In fact, I've had the 3 same prayer partners from when I was in practitioner class, and one of them has since made her transition. And the other prayer partner I still pray with, but it's good to have more than one opinion. And I've been saying for years, so I finally called my neighbor, who's actually a member of East Bay Church, and left a message to see if she wants to, speak and pray once a week. And then I have another person too that I'm going to call tomorrow. And also my prayer partner from my practitioner class. We've been calling each other more frequently, and it's been really good. It's been really, really good. So, and I have been riding my bike a lot. And even though we need rain, I'm appreciating that there's any rain right now. And so that exercise, physical exercise, just because that connects me to other people. And I often go to the same checker at the Berkeley Bowl, and we check in while he's checking my food out. He often asks me, how you doing? And I ask him how he's doing. And so that's kind of a bridge out to the community, because I read somewhere, I think it might've been Science Mind magazine, about those little things, not necessarily the deep, intimate connections, but the people that you see every day, at the bus stop, at the store, at the gas station, whatever, that those are very important to maintain for your health. And so I've just been paying more attention to those connections to my community.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
And
The bridge doesn't have to be a solid structure that's always present. It could be that communication with the checker, maybe that you only do once, right? Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Judith.
and so much more, but I want to hear from other people too.
Okay. Judith, what about you?
Well, I've set intentions, and my intentions are, in my ordinary life, if I'm not thinking about it, I might complain about something. I might complain about the virus, and I might complain about the elections, and I might complain, and I might talk to people who they might start complaining, and I jump in. So I've set my intention to release complaining, and I try to reset that every morning.
Yeah.
So that I don't get up, and if I see something that strikes me a certain way, I try to sit and breathe about it and let it go through one part of my brain and out the other side, and not let it set a tone for the day. I want my tone for the day to be just to be present. I just want to be present. And if I see it falling away from me, I come back.
Yes. Yes. So setting
And I
in-
do that because I don't get to see people. I'm home. I'm still staying home pretty much all the time, except for if something is urgent. If I need to go get a test or something.
Yes.
So that's it.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you, Judith, for sharing, setting intentions and and
Thank
sticking
you.
with those intentions. Let's go to Sherry and then we'll go to Sabrina.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. I'm finding this time to be a time of intense calm. And I'm noticing for me, I was running around a lot in my life and I had a lot of performance anxiety to get places and to show up and to do 1,000 things. And I'm just mostly home. And I go out with friends every once in a while with masks and we go for walks or on picnics. But I'm finding this deep inner calm and this connection to spirit that I did not have before. Um, and I'm in doing that, I'm noticing that a number of my friends are angry. They had their life exactly the way they wanted it, and they're mad and they're waiting for normal to come back. And rather than saying what I feel about that, I'm just practicing kindness because I'm noticing that everybody's on edge on some kind of way or for something, right? I mean, even me, I say I'm calm, but I have edges. Of course I do. So what I've done is I've come back to my creative pursuits, and I have a grand piano. I'm a classical pianist, and I've returned to playing and singing at the piano. And I make sure that I have a structure in the day, because without the structure, it's really hard to do things, you know. And so I'll just say that's it for the basic things I'm doing. But a lot of meditation and a lot of creative stuff and just being and letting things be.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So what I'm hearing is connecting with spirit and also connecting with the joy that's in you with the music, playing music and singing. And isn't it wonderful to know that that vibration is rippling out into the world? That gentleness, that love, that creativity, just from your space, just like with Judith, right where you are, you're setting that intention and allowing spirit to ripple out from where you are, making that cosmic connection and raising the consciousness all around us. So thank you.
Yeah, I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, thank you. And that's probably why I just sang in the beginning, those few
Yeah.
bars. I'm just like,
Seriously.
letting
Yeah.
it come out. And there's, yeah, so thanks. That's wonderful. I'm gonna hold that in.
How about you?
Me?
Yeah, you. Welcome.
You know, this has been a really interesting time for me because I'm spending so much time. I live alone with my 2 dogs, but you know, I have friends in the community, so I see people. But I'm spending so much time with myself that I'm having to learn about myself. And I'm having this really amazing time with the spirit.
Yes.
And just feeling all the love of the spirit. And from that, you know, I set up this weekly Sunday gathering with my nieces and nephews because I don't have children. And, you know, I was like, oh, I don't want to impose on them or whatever. But it's like, they are just like, we're all going to be there, right, right, right. They just push it. They want it. They love it. And it's like opening up to the love for myself. This is allowing me to receive all this love. I mean, I've always wanted Sunday gatherings, and I live in California. Most of my family's in New York. My other nephew's, right now he's in Jordan in the service. And I have a niece in Southern California, and we have Sunday gatherings. It's so beautiful. And we end it in prayer. And I'm just, and I don't do the prayer, my nephew does the prayer. So I love this bridge.
Yeah, this is fabulous. This virtual reality that we have going here has really brought us together. I know Sage is one of the folks who has come to us during this time. I don't see her on the call this evening, but she's in our class on Monday nights, and she was brought here kind of through the virtual connections. And so it has been marvelous to get to know more people, new people, during this virtual time of connecting cosmically across the airways, so to speak. And it's fabulous. Thank you for sharing that. Vicky, how about you?
I would totally agree with you on that. I've had several opportunities to reconnect with people, but also find new friendships. And a lot of it came from, well, 3 years ago, I moved here from Southern California, where I had a Center for Spiritual Living down there. And I still go to the prayer circle every Sunday. That's virtual. So I've been doing that ever since COVID. Every Sunday, I've seen my old friends, and we pray for each other, and it's really wonderful. But in addition to that, I never was able to come to Wednesday nights before because I was always had something else I was doing. So I've come to almost every session. And when we've been in breakout groups, for instance, and shared with each other, these are people that I saw but never really had very little time to talk to, and it's been wonderful. And also the Saturday Circle, I started going to the Saturday Circle, same thing there. So this has been a really rich time for me. I also took a lot of classes like some of you did. I took the, me and white supremacy, and then I went on to do, all these other workshops, and just connecting with people and being able to talk has been really healing and centering and calming, because all of us, as you say, we're all experiencing chaos in a way, but yet we have the ability, look at what we're doing here. We are creating this calm and peacefulness and love, and it's been wonderful. So that's how I feel about that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. All these little bridges that we are creating within and beyond our community. It is marvelous to see. Constance, I see you have your video on. Would you like to share?
Yes. Well, one of the biggest bridges for me has been my job, because it's kept me focused. But there's also some other things I think that are even more, that's been important, but it's been more important that first of all, I have 3 prayer partners. And two of them I've had for a long, long time. And one of them I just got to know this year through another online class, and she's from very close to where I used to live in British Columbia. So I love having her as a prayer partner, because I can sort of maintain a connection with my adopted country of Canada. And so I totally love that. And she actually came in on the Wednesday night call a few weeks ago when I was speaking, and it was delightful to see her on the call. So, but I've also started to do yoga, which I had never done before, and I just love it. I go to a class in Vermont twice a week. And then the rest of the time I do it online. I don't know where those people are from, but and I do it on YouTube. So there's lots of things. But the other thing that I've been thinking about recently is the balance between the reality of COVID and the reality, the capital R reality of our philosophy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't take big risks, with my health, and yet my immune system really, I'm older, but it's not really compromised. So it's not like I have to be super careful.
Mm-hmm.
I do go to the grocery store, but although I'm very careful about which grocery stores I go to. Some of them I just don't think they're doing a very good job, and I sort of feel like I'm going into a petri dish, and so I don't. But I have been thinking about this because I have noticed for myself and from other people I've talked to that particularly for those of us that are introverts, that have an introverted, that it's easy to start to just get hunkered in to being alone. Mm-hmm. And that 1 or 2 Zoom calls a week is enough. And so we don't make the effort to go out. And so I've been aware myself of having to be aware of how much of fear is keeping me from moving out. Or just lethargy, and what's that is all about, because there is a lot of lethargy that can go on, that goes on for me.
Mhm.
That's something that I've just been mulling over, and particularly as I put something out on the Village News and in the newsletter about whether people are interested in doing in-person small groups now that we're going into the yellow tier in California, and how few people have responded.
Yeah.
So I just really wonder whether that's lethargy, or whether, you know, we have our is our congregation that immune compromised, or I mean, you know, so it just raises some questions in my mind.
Yeah.
So anyway, and those are all things. It's sort of like, those aren't really bridges, but I think that sometimes the inquiry is as important as the bridges, because the inquiry can lead to bridges.
Absolutely. Yeah, we have to be willing to ask the questions in order for the answers to arise. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. You know, as I'm listening here, and I'm not seeing anybody jumping up to share right away, but if you're wanting or have anything to share, just raise your hand or undo your video, and I'll notice you, and then we can allow you a chance to speak. But as everyone's talking, and I'm listening to these ideas of what are some of the bridges over the troubled waters. One of the things that I spoke to a little bit on Sunday in my talk was this idea of forgiveness. And when I was building my talk for Sunday, one of the things that I was looking at was that Hawaiian process of Ho'oponopono. And that was really what I was going to kind of bring into the talk this evening, because I've turned to it several times. And what I really love about that process is that it is a process, number one, and that the whole purpose of that process is for us to clear the way of anything and everything that gets between us and spirit. And so the process, just to give a little bit of background on it, the process itself is really the saying of 4 basic statements. And the statements are, I love you, speaking to the divine, speaking to the divine in the problem area. I love you. I'm sorry that this is happening. Please forgive me and thank you. And I love the simplicity of that. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. Those 4 statements help us to get connected with spirit. They help us to clear out the troubled waters and build a bridge so that we can feel ourselves connected. And as I was doing the research on this whole process, I couldn't help but remember that in science of mind, in religious science, our spiritual mind treatment, it really does the same thing. Our first step is recognition. So we are recognizing that God is everything, Alpha, Omega, the answer to every problem. And then step 2 is unification. I am of God. I am connected with God. And then step 3 is that realization. God is all the good there is, and I claim and accept my part of it, that I am of it. And so this is very similar to that Ho'oponopono, in that I'm clearing the space of anything and everything that gets in the way of myself and spirit through those first 2 steps, recognition and unification. And then I'm claiming my connection, my cosmic connection to that good. And then to finish out the 5 steps of treatment, then I'm saying thank you, just like in Ho'oponopono. Thank you. It's done. 5th step is to release it, to know and trust that that connection has been made, that that request is done in spirit. And so this process of forgiveness, ho'oponopono is one way of doing it. What it does for us is it clears the board. It's like taking all these chalk marks that are up on a chalkboard and erasing them and leaving it with the freshness, like at the center. The group has gone in and they have cleared away all the guck and grime and anything else that might have gotten in the way of our truly experiencing spirit, God at the center, as each other at the center. So that's really the beauty of this idea of a bridge over troubled water, is that it clears the way, it provides the path, it gives us the opportunity to be connected, make that cosmic connection. So I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to look at the screen and see if there's anyone who is being stirred by anything that I've said here as I look through both screens. I'm not seeing anyone just yet, so I am going to continue with my discussion, because what's coming up for me is also this idea that we talk about this idea of the greatest good. And where this is really coming up strong for me right now is in the election process. And I know that when I was traveling and I would be going by these yards and they'd have the political signs in the yards, I would feel myself getting triggered by these signs. And it really didn't matter which candidate the signs were advertising. I felt myself being triggered by this. And so what I decided to do as we were traveling past these signs was I decided to start praying. And the prayer that I started saying was that the highest good is revealing itself in and through this election process. So I was releasing any need to know which candidate it would be in the end, and allowing myself to know that whichever candidate it is that comes out is the highest and best good for all. I may not understand on some levels what that means, but I trust. I have the faith and I trust that the highest and best good is working out for all in this process. How can I do that? Because I have built these bridges between myself and spirit, recognizing that there really isn't any distance between us to begin with, but through my prayer partners, through my sacred study, through my times in silence, I know. And I know that spirit is, God is right here, right now, in this moment, the bridge, and frankly, the troubled waters as well, because God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the all. And we get to play in that realm, in that field. And so when I have opportunities to try new ways of reconnecting myself, like that Ho'oponopono prayer, I try them. I see if they work for me. So I'll remind you, I love you. I'm sorry. Thank you. What's the last one? I have to look in the thing. I know Constance put it.
Forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. So I see a comment from Sherry here. Okay, I'm going to let the comment slide. I'm not going to speak it out loud. So is there anyone else that has a comment coming up or something that they want to share about these ideas that the highest good is working its way out through all of these situations. Are you all okay with that? Doesn't rankle anyone. I see Deborah. You have to unmute yourself. There you go, sweetheart.
One of the things I think is that this has been an amazing time and yet a devastating time, and I'm holding both at the same time. And what has been for me is, how do I be a bridge for that? And so my first approach is to always go to prayer.
Yes.
And so I start off my day every day with an intention and with prayer and with my prayer partner. And we consistently pray up, regardless to appearances, God is in the mix.
Yes.
And we know that something good is evolving out of this. And I can see it all the time. When we first went into this, just to see the clarity of skies, because we weren't on the road,
Yeah.
was amazing to me. And to really see all of the beauty that has evolved because we're sheltered in has been, I think, a godsend for all of us. Because I think that oftentimes for me, as I am consistently doing the work, I don't see all the nuances and all of the things that we are creating because I wasn't paying attention. And so, in looking back on it, number one, my bridge is consistently praying, being in service and with a prayer partner. But something else that happened to me that I took note of, and I think it was given to me by Beth. Beth works at the food bank. And so during all of this time, during the homelessness, it has grown. And I am carrying cards that Beth gave me, I'd say over a year ago, that said where all the free food and the food banks are. And one of the things I learned in terms of my spiritual activism group that was here was to put $1 with it and then give them the information. But I would go a step farther, and that was to go to either a Burger King or a Wendy's and just get those 4x4 purchases of food.
Yeah. Yes.
And give that to them with the $1 and the card to tell them where the food bank was. And I think that is one way that I can be of service wherever they are, to just go ahead. And generally, on my way to the center, there's always somebody there at 51st and I think it's Broadway, on any one of those corners. And I just go ahead and fill their cup for the day with the food, the $1, and that. And so that's another part of my bridge. But more than that, too, is learning during this time of how to be a better spiritual activist. And there has been workshops that have been going on that I have that I have taken, so that even now and in the future, to hold on to something that I know is going to consistently create the good that we want to see in the world. And so that has been taking care of me and being the bridge. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sending out those lifelines, so to speak, and communicating where the help is and where it can be had. So let me go to Margot, and then I see Sabrina and Luis have their hands up. Go ahead, Margot.
Okay. Well, I would not say what you said rankled me. I'm in admiration at how authentic it is for you to just trust in goodness. But I feel like, living on this human plane, that I also get messages about where to support goodness. in a very tangible way. For example, when you hear again this week that 500 and some of those separated children cannot be connected to their parents. So that feels like an insult to my soul, does not represent the kind of spirit I want to see manifest on the human plane. And so I just can't go to a place, well, I'm sure the highest good is happening here. I want to look for someone who is also aligned with that as an insult. So if I have these two candidates and one of them has caused it to happen and one of them there's a chance that a policy like that would never happen, I feel that is God guidance. That is me being guided to align with what my entire life has said is goodness.
Yes.
And so I don't know that they're either or, but I can't look at something like that and just say, I'm sure the best thing is going to happen here. And I don't need to, I can just pray, but I don't need to take a stand, or I don't need to vote, or I don't need to, be an agency of goodness, because I just can't do that yet.
Yes, yes. And what I hear you saying, what's coming through for me, what I hear you saying is that you are able to clarify your own values through what you're seeing happening out in the world, and through
how it feels.
Clarity of your own values, you are able to take action from that standpoint. That's a highest good.
Yeah, I can't just pray and say, I hope the best thing happens here.
Right. It's kind of funny. My husband always says, pray to God, row for the shore. So that's what I'm hearing.
So when you do, you just go into trust, you also act?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I am human.
Okay. I didn't hear that part.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying that, because that's important to know that as we stand in our values, we are also acting on our values. So yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Sabrina, let's go to you.
Okay. I've got to be brave for this one. My heart is pounding because I'm actually really nervous. Thank you for saying that, because I really do believe in the higher good. And, I grew up in the 60s and 70s, and it was really intense racial tension. And I'm at a place now where I do believe that, what's happening right now is it gets messy before it gets better. What's happening right now is when people are saying there's no more racism in the United States, someone came along and peeled back that very smelly onion, and we're seeing the truth. And so I go back to 2016 and thinking, what happened? And I'm where I am now, saying, God is in charge. And look at all the beautiful youth that is just rising up and saying, no more. So people like my father, who says to me, Sabrina, I don't even remember seeing it this bad, who's 84 and is afraid, I have the comfort of knowing in my soul that God is working at this very moment. Because when I watch those young people from all over the world, from every race, from every background, say, that's wrong, I'm inspired. And I'm not afraid. And I'm saying, that's God. That's God. So when you say, whatever happens, yes, I voted today, by the way. Whatever happens, yes, I walked it over and in. Whatever happens, God is still in control. And I trust the God within everyone and all these young people who are going to push it forward no matter what happens on November 3rd. So thank you for saying that.
Yes, and amen. Thank you. Blessed be. So I see Luis has his hand up, and I see that we've got 5 minutes to 8. So Luis, make it quick. Can you unmute yourself? There you are.
There we go. Hi all. I will try to do that as a glowing minister.
You're a little garbled, but
I'm sorry.
I said your voice is a little garbled.
I'm not quite sure how to fix that, but I'll make it quick. I've been truly involved in what's happening on the planet as a whole. Because for some strange reason, I've always had the idea that it's going to take care of itself. Even before I had the consciousness of religious science. And I got really upset with my cousin back home when this was a couple of years ago, when Bush was first, not Bush, Trump was first running for president. And she was all upset because he was going to upset the apple cart, so to speak. And I kept telling her that the whole process was for good. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know off the top of my head anyone who knew what it was, but it was going to turn out all right. But she couldn't say that.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that to say that I've been blessed not to be involved in a lot of, or some of, the race consciousness that is going on the planet. And some of the judgmental mentalities that the planet is pushing and sharing, and whatever you want to call it, that affects individuals and affects us as a whole. Yes, I wrote it on Monday, by the way. I wrote it down to the Registrar of Voters office and actually turned it in to someone because I didn't really feel that if I put it in the wrong box, it would get there in time. And that's part of my generation, and that's something else. But I know it's going to turn out right. You can't have change, or we can't have change without something forcing us to change. We don't, if we sit back, we don't change because there is nothing pushing us in any direction. So there's always a storm of some sort that comes up to make us conscious, or should I say vibration, to make us conscious that shift is required in order to improve the planet, our heads, our bodies, our lives, our finances, our relationships. It's all the same. It's like if you take one sentence, shift creates change, and hold that in your consciousness. Everything that you come in contact with that has any vibration of discomfort, and you can use that to become aware, to shift your consciousness, and like I do mine periodically. It doesn't happen all the time because sometimes I get bullheaded, but that's another story.
Yes.
So, yeah, and we can breathe and let go, because the universe is working through everything on this planet. All of us are all connected. how can it not be right if we're all connected?
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cosmic consciousness, reality. Cosmic connection is a reality. We are all consciously connected to spirit. We are one. And the one life, the one power, the one presence is life affirming. Always. It may not always look like that. We might be like that butterfly that's in a cocoon, the caterpillar. He's living a great life. He's living a great life. He's eating everything he wants. And then all of a sudden he gets the idea. Oh, I need to attach myself to this stick and make a cocoon. And in the cocoon, what happens? He falls to mush. There's nothing that looks anything like that caterpillar left in the cocoon. And yet within that, within the cells, the imaginal cells of that caterpillar and of that mush is the butterfly. And even with the butterfly coming out of that cocoon is pushing and moving and taking action to get himself out of that cocoon. And it's hard. And he struggles. And yet, once that butterfly is outside of that cocoon and he starts to lift and move his wings, the God that was in the caterpillar is still the God that's in the butterfly. And it's all good. It's all God.
All God.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Sally. Shall we all thank Reverend Sally with your clapping mechanisms or whatever? We thank you. Yes, thank you, Reverend Sally. See, look at all that clapping going on out there. I hear it. I hear it. I'm cosmically connected to it. Or
Thank you
digitally.
for sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, Reverend
Thank you.
Sally, I'm going to run through these announcements really quick. Don't you all hear on as I do these announcements. You got some interesting things. So this Sunday, October 25th, Reverend Tony Bradford will be speaking on Bridges That Last, meditation at 10, and our Zoom service starts at 10:30. Next Wednesday, October 28th, practitioner Zoe DeMuro will be speaking on cosmic connections. And that's next Wednesday at 6:30 for meditation and service at 7. The Diversity Circle is meeting this Friday, October 23rd at 7 p.m. This is the last circle of 2020, and Doug and Sridevi will be leading a visioning for 2021. Boy, has 2020 been something else. It's the year the rest of the country joined our diversity group in having a conversation about diversity. What is being shown to us in 2021? For their final meeting in 2020, they'll gather to do a visioning session for the upcoming year. That's this Friday at 7 p.m. It is in Zoom. Also, it's pledge time. Now, at the beginning of our event tonight, you saw a video that Reverend Sally shared with on the upgrades that we've done at the center. So I'm asking everyone to use that as a reminder of how beautiful our center is. And now that we've had all this work done, we'll need to maintain it next year. And that's going to cost money to maintain our center. It always does. We'll have a lot of activities and fundraising available through rentals because of the work we get done, but there's still regular bills to pay. So I'm asking those of you to pledge to your commitment for financial commitment to 2021 to invest in our center so we can maintain it the way it is and make it even better than it already is. And we can do that from a business standpoint by pledging on the website. If you look on the web page, it's on the right side of the home page. So we'll be doing it digitally this year. We're currently 75% of the way through the month, but we're less than halfway to the amount of money and goal that we would like to see for next year. So if you're so inclined, please get your pledges in. Pledge will go all the way till the end of the year. Jeff will not cut it off at the end of October. So please get it in as soon as you can. It does help on planning the budget. The Ministry of Prayer and the Oakland Center practitioners are offering prayer and contemplation on the day before and the day of the election. That will be when Monday, November 2nd and Tuesday, November 3rd of next week. Joined by Zoom from 5, I'm sorry, not next week, the week after. From 5 to 6 p.m. each day, and be led in an hour of knowing the truth of whose we are. The Zoom sign-in will soon be on the homepage of the website. Again, that is November 2nd and November 3rd from 5 to 6 p.m. in Zoom. It'll be prayer and contemplation on the day before election and election day. Last, the rules on social distancing in Alameda County are changing. We have the possibility of now meeting in small groups, socially distanced, and in person. If you're interested in taking part or starting an in-person group, please send an email to constance@oaklandcsl.org or put it in the chat right now. At this point, we're seeing if there's enough interest to move forward with some small groups. To get our weekly newsletter that we talk about, where there's links to everything I've talked about on the Village News, go to the website, lower left-hand corner, put in your email and submit. Also, the Oakland Village has a Facebook group that you can check out, other members. And finally, we have our own YouTube channel. That video that you saw at the beginning is now posted on our YouTube channel under all videos. You'll be able to see it there. Plus, there's some videos from the folks that donated their 2 minutes sentiments on the center that we ran last month. So if you will, remember to go to the YouTube channel. Everything is at oaklandcsl.org on our homepage. There's hot links to all of those things and to the YouTube channel as well. If you have difficulty finding that video, just contact me. I'll help guide you there. I also would like to thank our Zoom team tonight, Constance Chapman, Peggy Cotton, Peter Gum, and Alice Knudsen. And our newest member of the team, Alice Herndon, has joined us. Will be working with us on Wednesday night. So thank you, Zoom team. None of this is possible without you. And everything is possible through God, though. We know that. So we'll take that for our offering tonight. Peter, if you'll show us the slide for the offering, let's read our offering statement. Joyously I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. And here at the center, financial giving is wonderful, but we also enjoy physical and spiritual contribution as well, knowing that we are working for our highest and best through these gates that you see behind me. All of your contributions, physical, financial, time, treasure, and talent, go on behind these gates and comes forward through these gates out into the world to make a world that works for everyone. We're trying to leave it a little bit better than when we received it, is what Jeff usually says. So you can donate on our homepage. There it is with the hot links you can see for Wednesday and Sunday service. And below that, there's other hot links for all the YouTube channel and the Facebook groups and all kinds of things. But that donate button is very important. If you press that, it will lead you to an online form. You can put in your credit card information and submit your offering, for which I am grateful, and the center is grateful, and Reverend Jeff and the board is grateful that you contribute. So with that in mind, Reverend Sally, will you close us out in a final prayer?
I am happy to do so. So as we close our eyes and return to our breath, returning to that cosmic consciousness of the one, recognizing the one power, the one presence, that which is, that which always is, that which is forever connected to itself, as itself, in itself, and that which is good, always bringing forth life-affirming goodness, always, no matter what it looks like to me. I know that this one life is my life. It is the life of each and every individual on this call and beyond. We are it, expressing itself as us. And as each of us goes forward with our evenings into our lives this evening, I bless us, knowing that we are divinely guided. And I give thanks for this divine guidance, this clarity, this love. I'm grateful for this community. I'm grateful for our opportunity to connect via Zoom so that we can see each other and speak with each other and share ideas with each other. I am very grateful for this Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. And if you're in agreement with me in this prayer, please join me by saying, and so it is.